Cool. All right. For Instagram, I'm going live on Instagram today to give them a sneak preview of what our lives look like inside of the program. So here you go, Instagram. Check it out. I'm going to get into it here. So happy Tuesday, everybody. And today we're talking about, I'm going to take you through a practice, actually. It's called the Self-Sabotage Solve. Something that we use inside our program and something that I want to share with all of our members here today. Again, just to solve self-sabotaging. So if you're joining the live, as always, drop your win. Let's celebrate some wins first thing. I'll read those wins out as they come through or at the end of the call here. And and I'll just give you a little bit of a background about why we're talking about this and what it's going to solve, and we'll go through the practice together. So a little bit different than normal, but I'm really excited about this one, and I'll try my best not to ramble here. So my win for the day is, I'm embracing a full deload right now. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit uncomfortable not going to the gym. I can't really remember. No, I took a week off for vacation, but I can't remember a time where I've taken a full week off of training as a deload. Generally, my deloads, I just drop the weight by 30-40% and leave a whole lot of extra in the tank. But feeling a little sore, and it's been a while since I've taken a full week off and just kind of relaxed and recovered. So I'm enjoying that. I've got one more workout to miss, and then back at it on Friday, and then it'll be a full week of recovery. So that's my win for the day. And all right, let's hop into the topic here, and then I'll read out any wins that come through at the end here. So self-sabotage solve. A lot of people will, and myself included, have these core beliefs inside of us. And a core belief is something that you believe about yourself. It's something that it might not be like a really prominent thing that's on your mind, but a lot of people have core beliefs about themselves as to like who they are as humans. It can be a core belief of like, I don't complete any tasks, therefore I am inadequate as a human. That's an example of a negative core belief. Core beliefs can be positive too. Core beliefs can be things like I'm a very generous person, loving person, and I do my best to try and put others first. That could be a positive core belief. So we have core beliefs, and these core beliefs are not often, can be quite regular. It really is individual for each person, but these core beliefs can be something that cause self-sabotage. So essentially what happens is, because we have this belief about ourselves, so I'm going to use one of like a common one of like, I believe that I'm not a successful person. And when you have that core belief, you start to act in ways that reinforce that belief. And it might not always be conscious decisions. It can be subconscious, but because you believe about yourself, you will start to act in ways that confirm that belief. And you reinforce it, and so then that establishes a core belief where it then becomes a core value where you're like, every time I do something, I'm not successful. I just look X, Y, Z. I've got all of this data and all of these examples of times that I didn't succeed, and so there you go. I'm not a successful person. I'm not someone that can succeed. But when we really examine it, the reason why that person might not succeed is because they're lining themselves up to make actions and behave in a certain way that causes them to not succeed. So quick example might be, let's see, food behaviors. Food behaviors are a really common one, and they can get a little bit more complex because we have like food relationships, but I'm not saying that all of these things are simple anyways. This is complex stuff. But a core belief that can cause someone to fail is nutrition. They just believe nutrition is way too hard. I can't handle nutrition stuff, and I'm not a person that has enough control over my food. And so that leaks into their mentality through the week, and it can lead to binges. It can lead to just making subconscious decisions, and it's not always subconscious. Sometimes it is conscious, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna get this McDonald's today, and I know it's gonna put me over my plan, but like, I just really want it, and uh, and that still stems back to that core belief of like, I can't do nutrition, and so therefore I'm not successful. Um, and so then you make these actions that continue to confirm that belief. And so, super important. If you feel like you're stuck where you are, you're not progressing um, past a certain point, or like you feel plateaued, or there's a habit like nutrition or tracking where you feel like you just can't get a handle of it, or you just can't seem to find that extra gear in the gym. This is a practice that you can do that can kind of help discover some of those things. And it's not going to be super direct to the task, but you'll get the picture as we go through it here. So um, the practice is it's self-reflection is how it starts. So the first thing that you need to do is sit down, and this is deep work. So um, don't just breeze through it. This isn't something to just kind of do casually for 15 minutes or so. Like, this is deep intentional work where you're actually truly like soul searching to find your flaws and um, your hangups, right? So um, what you're going to do, first task, set some time aside, get yourself into a good headspace, and start journaling around the person that you want to be. So I'll use myself as an example through the rest of this, but you translate it to yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start journaling of like, what's the best version of Darcy look like? If I could imagine like being the best version of myself, that version of me that I'm like, I would be so proud of. I would encompass all the values that I want to encompass, and I would have the discipline, all the characteristics that I want, that would make me feel like I'm just like at my absolute best. And I'm going to start to journal like what that actually looks like for me. And so something that I've done this practice for many, many years, and something that I want to throw in as an asterisk here is one of the things that I used to do would be the best version of Darcy makes 10 grand a month. The best version of Darcy is 230 pounds of pure muscle. The best version of Darcy, blah, blah. And I would create some metrics like that. But I want to discourage you from doing that, because it's similar to what we talk about in goal setting on the weekly check-ins or the bi-weekly check-ins, whichever you're on, is that we don't want to set goals that we can't guarantee we can make. You know, there's too many variables in the way to determine whether that's going to happen, variables that are outside of our control. So it's not like it's not a limiting self-belief that I can't be this version of me. It's just avoiding those specifics, because they're going to come alongside with this process as you do it anyways. It's just going to become a result of the byproduct, or a byproduct and the result of the byproduct. It's going to become a byproduct of the true venture that you're on here. And so when you're journaling that, then you're like, well, what do I do? Journal the characteristics of that person. Is that person someone who sticks to the word? Like, people can depend on the best version of Darcy. If he says he's going to do something, people are like, yeah, no, I'm not stressed. It's going to happen. He follows through every single time. Tons of integrity, that guy. If it's something like it could be the best version of Darcy has like absolute total control over his behaviors. And so he has a high level of discipline. That way I know I'm like, oh, the best version of Darcy, when he eventually does go into a contest prep to get on stage for the first time, he's going to nail everything, because he has such a good level, such a high level of discipline and control over his behaviors and his actions, that he's not going to go off a plan. And even though it's hard, he's going to know that he can do it, and he's going to stay motivated. He's going to stick to the goal. He's going to stay on task the whole time, because he's got a ton of discipline. And so you go through and create that vision of yourself, that best version of you, based off of the characteristics and the behaviors that they present. All right. So that's task one. You have this image now of like gold standard Darcy. gold standard Casey, gold standard Lewis, gold standard Wendy, whoever you are. You're creating that vision of like the gold standard of who you want to be. All right. So then, task number 2 is to start to kind of create like an alter ego. So we have that gold standard. That's our like alter ego that we want to become, and then we have the version of ourselves that we are right now, right? And so there's a gap. There's a distance. We're not this person yet. We just figured out who this person looks like and who they are, and it's pointed out a bunch of flaws in us that we're like, oh, this version of me doesn't have that level of discipline and isn't as integral as he wants to be because sometimes he flakes out and whatever. So we have this gap of who we want to be and who we are right now, and that gives us a lot of direction. Of course, we see, oh, well, shit, I know what I need to improve on to become that person because these are the things that I'm not doing right now. And the most likely thing is that when you create that vision of the characteristics of the person you want to be, all the characteristics that you name are probably not characteristics that you're like 100% on right now anyways. So you've given yourself a whole lot of direction and you've pointed out some of the flaws that you have. Now, as you do this, just blow it out. We have one example already that's like a version that we are. It's an image that we've created that we want to strive for. We have the version that we are now. Let's exaggerate that and make it into the version of ourselves that we really don't want to be. All right, not just like the version that we are now that can kind of comfortably get by week to week and continue on. And we have frustrations, whatever, but we can, we're somewhat okay with who we are and we can be complacent and survive. No, take that version of you. I call mine Bitch Darcy. And Bitch Darcy is the guy that, like, he's the one that fills my head with self-doubt. He's the one that tells me, oh, it's okay if you go over on your macros today. I'll go grab some extra chocolate. Bitch Darcy is the version of me that encompasses all the things that I don't want to be. And so I've exaggerated. I have this perfect version and I've taken the version of myself and I've exaggerated to make it this like really unattractive character. And I've gone as far to make that, and I actually suggest that you do this, make that alter ego like as repulsive of a human as you can. And it's not a reflection of who you are right now. It's a reflection of it's like the yin and the yang, right? We have the angel over here and we have the devil over here. And so you're taking the parts of you, because obviously if we have these two extremes, we'd fall somewhere in the middle. We're not this piece of crap person and we're not this saint right now. We're somewhere in the middle, but we're going to separate the two alter egos so that we have perfect version and we have like that slime bag, devil on the shoulder person that we just don't want to be anything like. And keep that in mind. And through the day, you're going to start to, if you really, really sink into this activity and you really, truly embrace it and you start to think about it on a daily basis, then you're going to start to become a whole lot more aware when these two things are not in alignment. When you want to be this person, but something in your mind is this guy's chattering away. Like, you could be eating your food and being like, oh, I got to track my macros. I'll do it later, and be like, no. Bitch Darcy is the guy that always says he'll track his macros later, and he never does. I'm not going to be Bitch Darcy. Gold standard Darcy, he's like, needs to be done, going to do it right now. Done. Boom. And it helps you to start to act in a way that aligns yourself more with the version that you want to be. And it elevates you from the version that you are. You're creating like a polarizing field between the two, where this side is just so grotesque to you, you don't want to be anything like it. And this side is so attractive that you want to be everything that they are. And your day-to-day decisions start to not plague, but they weigh on your mind more of, would this be a decision that gold standard Darcy does, or is this bitch Darcy talking again? Is this bitch Darcy being afraid of change or afraid of success? Is Is bitch Darcy trying to tell me that I'm worthless, or that I can't be happy, or that because this happened, I deserve to do this, or I get to be this. Um, you have that perspective, and you start to understand that um, your behaviors are on one side or the other, and it can help you pull away from those core values, because the negative core values are grounded in bitch version of you. They're the version that you don't want to be, but they're there nattering in your ear, and it can highlight what those negative core values are, so that you can become more aware of them, and then you can start to align yourself with a version that you're actually proud of. So I call this the self-sabotage solve. TM. I made it up. It's my own trademark. It's an incredibly effective practice. It's something that, honestly, I really recommend that you go back to every 3 months. That version. No, wait. This hand. The gold version of you is going to change over time. There's going to be. You're going to become more in alignment with this person, but there's going to be more that you see, because, like I said at the very beginning, when you're creating the characteristics of this version of you, it's most likely a reflection of this version of you that you're living that you don't want to be anymore. And so, as you progress closer and closer to this version of you, more things are going to come to light where you're like, oh, okay, I don't do this anymore. I don't do this anymore. I don't do this anymore. But I'm noticing that this and this are starting to get in my way, and they're keeping me here when I want to be over here. So reevaluate, go back to this practice every 3 months, look back at previous gold version of you, and then start to journal, like, what has changed, and like what behaviors have you changed, what has this brought up for you, what are the things that you've have come to light that are not benefiting you, and you can apply that to the next gold version of you and keep doing that over and over and over again, because it will continually pull you to a higher level. We always have an inner conviction. We want to be better. We genuinely want to be good people. We want to be proud of ourselves. We want to be people that have integrity, that have discipline, that are in control of their behaviors and don't act out of emotion. We want to be people that are fair to others, that are just and merciful. We want to be these really fantastic people, and we have that inner desire, which is why the negative stuff feels so icky to us. And when you create that vision and continually look at it, it pulls you up to that level, and it pulls you away from this level. um, Jordan Peterson, there's something that he said that I integrate into this practice as well, and it's really, really powerful. Where says, if you want to be, if you really want to be better, then the first thing you should do is sit on the edge of your bed, and same thing, like, full intention, sit down and think and be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what incredibly stupid thing am I doing on a daily basis that is making my life and the lives around me more miserable? The truth will come out to you, and it's going to suck. It's going to be a conviction that you're like, oh, I don't want to have to face that. And that's exactly the thing that you need to hear. It's exactly the thing that you need to face. And it's so much in alignment with this practice. I really love that, and just kind of goes to show that, I'm not Jordan Peterson. I'm no world-renowned psychologist, but this self-sabotage solve is a practice that's heavily founded in things that great thinkers like him have said. So highly recommend. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up there, because we're like creeping on 20 minutes here, longer live than usual. But please do give this a practice. Carve the time out. Give yourself an hour, whatever time that you need. Make sure that you have an environment that's not distracting. Like, you don't want to be in the middle of thinking through some really deep stuff and then being interrupted by people. So create a space where you can really invest in this practice. Get yourself in a good mindset. Don't do it when you're in a bad mood. I honestly would say, don't even do it when you're in a really good mood. Do it when you're feeling neutral. Do it when you're just sitting in the middle. and really invest in this practice, it will change your life. If you really sink into it and you give it your all, it will change your life. I promise you that. All right. Got a win here from Robin. Getting back to my routine after your trip to Colorado. I love it. I'm just going to end the face or the Instagram live here because there we go. They don't need to hear all of that. And I love that, Robin. It's awesome. You are such a cool example of somebody who's really embraced the program. Casey and I are both so proud of you. Like all the work that you've done, living the lifestyle you do. Honestly, if people are watching and they don't know, sorry, Robin, if I'm flattering you too much here, but Robin and her husband travel in an RV across the states. They traveled for 55 days through Australia and New Zealand, and Robin has had an incredible transformation, like living out of her RV, doing training with resistance bands, adjustable dumbbells, and then being able to hit the odd gym here and there when they camp out for a few weeks in a certain place. And it's just really cool to see because with that level of inconsistency, there's consistency with an RV, but it's different than having a home gym, all that sort of stuff. Going to the same grocery stores all the time. It's just highlights how well you can really embrace these habits and how they can shift and mold your transformation, even in maybe not the most ideal circumstances. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out on the live here. Hashtag your win. Drop it down below. Your biggest takeaway. Please do this exercise. Do it this week. Don't wait. Don't let it slip your mind. It's going to make your whole fall a whole different level for you. All right. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you later.